Welcome, everyone. I am Edward Hertzman, founder and CEO of Athletech. Let's just start out quick 15, 30 seconds. I like each of today's panelists to just give a brief introduction, name, where you guys work. Paul, let's start with you.
Sure. Thanks again for having us. Paul Lunter, CEO of Wellness Space Brands, so previously known as Hydro Massage. We've been in the health and wellness space for over 30 years and excited to be here. Thank you.
Rachel?
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm Rachel Pojednik. I'm the Director of Scientific Research and Education at Restore Hyper Wellness. We're a company that has been around for almost 10 years now. We have going on almost 300 locations around the country to help provide people with therapies to do more of what they love.
And Ryan?
I'm Ryan Dewey, co-founder and co-CEO of Plunge. We build and sell cold plunges and now just entering the sauna space.
Great. So let's get right into it. A question for everyone. Paul, let's start with you. There's been an enormous spike in consumer interest in recovery, whether it be hot, whether it be cold, whether it be massage, cryo, et cetera, et cetera. What is behind this increased demand, and really how big can this recovery market get?
So, it has come really fast, but then at the same time, we introduced our products to fitness market about 15 years ago. And at first everybody was, why are you here? I don't get it. Why is hydro massage a product that we should be looking at in fitness? And it took a lot of education. And little by little, people started to understand the value. In the beginning, we were talking about tear and repair. So it was all about recovery. And over time, people understand that really having a wellness product rather than a recovery product is really a lot of benefits there. So, you've got the last 5 years, every trade publication has had more and more topics on health and wellness and recovery, and our products are usually included in those articles. Tom Brady, compared to doctors when I was growing up, doctors were smoking and during in movies. Now Tom Brady is explaining, I can't just work out every day. I've got to have a full holistic wellness program for my life. So it's exercise, it's diet, it's mental, it's recovery, it's all the pieces together. Simone Biles, you got a premium athlete that, by far the best. And, she kind of had a little breakdown because it's just a lot of stress. And so kind of more proof that you can't just exercise every day. You have to have these other pieces in there. As I said, we rebranded as Wellness Space Brands because we believe in this so much. Club Industry and Cybec recently just came out with the 4 pillars of wellness, and it's exercise, recovery, mental wellness, and diet. So, our products cover 2 of those 4 pillars. So, I think everybody understands now more than ever, and especially after COVID, people had time to reflect on their health a lot. And then also the mental part of it, people understood, there are a lot of mental anguish and, a lot of time to reflect and worry about those things. So everybody understands now that you can't really just think about it. I mean, in the past, everybody knew they should be doing the things that we're doing now, but didn't make the time for it. So I think everybody understands now the true value of more than just exercise.
Mm-hmm. Rachel, what do you think's behind this demand, and how much bigger can this guy say 300 locations? How much bigger can this get?
Yeah, it's such a great question. It's interesting. My background is actually in muscle and muscle physiology. That's really where I started, in the intersection between exercise and nutrition. And it was always something that we knew that when you exercise really hard, your muscles are going to be broken down and you need to give yourself some time in order to recover. And if you're a good strength trainer, you're somebody that's been in this space for a long time, to Paul's point exactly, is you can't be doing that kind of effort over and over again. And the theme that has been coming out, I think more and more, is that whether it's from exercise or even from mental health or even some of these other therapies that we think about, is that there is this growing recognition that we need stimulus plus recovery in order to have long-term adaptation. And so I think that's really starting to come out in the popular press. It's starting to come out in the medical literature now, is thinking about how we, in fact, add stimulus, some kind of a stress to the system in order to then see that beneficial physiologic recovery. And so how big does this get? I mean, When we look at Gen Z and what they're interested in the future from a proactive and preventive space, I mean, I think this is where the whole field is going, both from a fitness wellness space as well as a medical space, is how do we think about this from a proactive and preventive space rather than reactive? And if that's the case, then, the size of the population is how big this can get because everybody needs it.
I think that's a great point. Ryan, you want to take this one as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone nailed it pretty well. I think for me, it's a pretty natural progression. It's been so focused on like the fitness and the actual act of working out, and now we're getting a more holistic understanding of what goes in to being a healthy body. And we're seeing that, on the sleep front. It's like sleep is the time we're actually growing our muscles. The workouts actually we're tearing them down. So it's like they all go hand in hand. And then I think you throw in the internet, you get the Hubermans of the world and just information getting out. There's just an accelerant of people becoming aware to it. I think specifically for our sector in cold and sauna and heat, it's like that information's just, there's kind of a tipping point. And then we're now stepping into studies that are being done and actually what this is doing on the body. So I think we're just a better understanding that it's like a holistic picture of how to be a healthier, more active human. It's not just the act of working out. It's all these other factors that go into it.
Ryan, as a follow-up to that, Plunge has quickly grown from a concept born, out of your co-founder's garage into like the leading cold plunge manufacturer. You guys all over the place. What void did Plunge see in the recovery market? And did you create and how did you create a product that resonated so well with consumers?
For us, it was, we just looked at the market. And at the time, this was 3 years ago when we launched. It was almost exactly 3 years ago. It was out of COVID. The market was really $10,000 and up units. And for us, that just wasn't accessible. So we set out to be like, can we get a unit down to 5K? That was kind of our goal. Did we envision the size of this market? No, we were not doing, TAM analysis or we were literally just like, it started, can we sell 20 of these to our other brick and mortar businesses? COVID shut us down. That was what we were serving. So I think for us, like what we hit was, sometimes you just come at the right moment and there was already an undercurrent of interest we kind of filled that void at that time. We partnered really well. And I think secondly, it was like, we were at the forefront. This is how we lived our lives. Like this is who we were. We weren't looking for a trend. It was literally like, can we build a unit for ourselves and sell to people within our network? And then you throw in the right timing that, we were able to build and kind of compound from there. But, I think it was price point and equally, we wanted something that aesthetically looked cool. I think there was like a functionality dynamic, but we really leaned into design. And that was, we understood like cold plunge is it's a solo event, but it's a communal event. And can you bring something that's forefront and people want to showcase it at their homes? Mm-hmm. And I think, touching on that, we were able to kind of compound from there.
So Paul, how can gyms and studios incorporate your recovery products into their offerings? And I think one of the most important questions I'm going to ask today is, more importantly, how could they monetize them?
Sure. Yeah, we at this point, most of the major brands have incorporated our products and they're building wellness spaces. I mean, a big kind of telltale sign for us is some of the bodybuilding type clubs, the ones that really focus more on weightlifting rather than the full offering. And so, we spent a lot of money in the early years, spending a lot of time in clubs, trying to figure out the answer to this question. And we've tried every variation you could possibly think of. And it's a little funny, but the most simple one is the one that works the best. And I guess it's that way a lot of times, right? So it's whatever they're trying to accomplish. So if they have a multi-tier membership, when they put us in the higher level packages, and if that's what the staff is, they're engaged to do, and that's to introduce people to those higher packages, they always do better. So 10, 20, 30% more upgrades of that premium package when they have our products. And if it's a smaller facility like personal training or something like that, then again, people they're gonna take to the treatment better. It's gonna be a differentiation tool in the club or in their studio. And so, and it affords them to be able, the reason to make the space in the facility. That's one of the questions is always space and money. Do we have space and money? And once people see the results of our products in their facility, they clearly find both space and money. And then on the higher end clubs, they just make it an amenity that everybody can use. So we've got, anywhere from the HVLPs, the studios, and then the high end clubs that all have our products now. And so they're each finding a way to make money with it. We've got architects asking us now for it. So people are really kind of a preemptive look at this, but go ahead.
Paul, do you feel that the staff in these facilities know how to use the technology? They know how to properly train their staff on it and then train the members of the club to use it? Or is that a lot of education that you guys are having to go in there and teach?
So with all three of our products, I mean, they're all designed to be safe, self-administered, easy to clean up from one person to the next, and then the people can administer it themselves. So therapeutic, of course. But the great part about it is that when the member gets off or they get off of the machine, they come back and they tell them thank you because they love it so much. Or sometimes we get a lot of people telling us that's either the reason that they joined a facility, or they come in just to use our product and they don't do anything else that day. So when you have people coming in and saying how great they feel after they use one of our products, then the staff gets more engaged with it. They're more excited to promote it. And it's easy. Again, it's self-administered. It's very simple. Our GUI interfaces are all really easy to understand. So we spend a lot of time on that too as well to make it so that it's not complicated. It is very easy to understand. And when you get off of it, everybody goes, I get it, because they get the feeling on all three products.
So Restore offers many different recovery modalities and services. Can you explain the company's approach to hyper wellness and how it merges these services together in an offering?
Yeah, it's such a great question. So we have a framework of 9 elements that we think about for wellness. They all relate back to recovery at some point, but really we have both medicalized products that you need, essentially a prescription from our medical team. So I think that's one thing that's really important that differentiates Restore from a lot of competitors, as well as thinking about the differences between being in studios and in clubs and partnering with studios and clubs. Is we actually have the staff with the medical expertise, our nurse practitioners, our MDs that can help with these more medical therapies. And then everything is overseen, whether it's a medical therapy or one of our core therapies, which would be cryotherapy, infrared sauna, we have compression, and red light therapy. And those are all overseen by who we call our hyper wellness reps. They're super well trained in all of our modalities. It's one of the areas that I actually oversee for our company in collaboration with our education team. And this is something that we are constantly updating with them. So we are looking at the most recent evidence. We are updating our protocols. We're updating our dosages. And so this is, I think, a really important element that you were just talking about with Paul, is that you want to have the right people giving the right therapies and understanding them so they can describe it to the client, as well as make sure that they're doing it in a safe and effective way. And so when we think about the hyper wellness life, we are looking at these 9 elements all related to recovery. So we've got nutrition from our IV micronutrients. We have compression. We have oxygen therapy in our HBOT systems, red light therapy, and cold and heat therapies. And from here, we can really think about affecting the physiology from multiple different parameters. That's different than just maybe one cold therapy or one heat therapy. Really can be a wraparound services situation.
Of all the services that you guys offer, what would you say is the most popular today?
Yeah, it's a great question. We started out with cryotherapy. So I would say that that's definitely, our heat therapies are definitely where we're sort of grounded. But what we do see is that people, as they start to think about this proactive and preventive space, they're experimenting with a lot more of our medical therapies as well. So the IV micronutrients, things like NAD. We have some new products that are coming down that we're really excited about. And these injectables we're seeing are also really important for this preventive and proactive self-care, essentially, to make sure that people don't end up sick. We're stopping that, well before those kinds of diagnoses happen. And so while we were grounded very much in the sort of, temperature hot, cold, red light, photobiomodulation. We see that this medical trend is increasing and certainly not slowing down anytime soon.
So Ryan, a question for you and Plunge. Plunge is primarily, from my understanding, a DTC company, but has a growing B2B segment. How big of an aspect of your current business is partnering with gyms, studios, other facilities? And what's the demand? What type of demand are you seeing from these clubs for Plunge or Plunge-like services?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's actually stayed pretty steady. We haven't grown substantially in the B2B side. It's a focus of the company moving forward. I mean, right now we're about 90% residential and about 10% go into like a commercial type center. And right now that's all inbound. You know, that's our team basically taking, and we consider that like the SMB, more like 3 to 5 location type scenarios that are, easier decision, less decision makers. They can add it in, incorporate it in a lot quicker. For us as a company, big focus is like getting the feedback that we've gotten over the last few years of how how the product needs to improve, support channels that need to be the infrastructure in play, which we've done with the product. And we're actually going to be releasing a newer product coming up here real soon that in the cold category that is like, it's built more for commercial. It's ready for it. It's app enabled. Maintenance is much more seamless. So all these learnings that we've had over the last couple of years, we are doubling down in the commercial sector. It's the feedback we get from what we consider like our enterprise gyms, where we're piloting some of these larger, more known gym structures. It's like the number one modality they're requesting right now is cold. How does cold plunging get in? I mean, we have a couple of units at like different equinoxes, and there's literally a line all day to get into the cold plunge. It's like Disneyland. And so it's pretty exciting, but it's also for us, it's like getting the unit to a place that's seamless, works for staff, education too. Like there's a whole process into how we're educating commercial side. It's not as simple as just rolling out a new bench press. It's, first it starts with the staff. Like, how do we get the staff all in on understanding how to use this? This isn't forcing people into 39-degree water and making them go 10 minutes in a cold plunge. It's actually a much more micro journey than that. What are the temps? What is the protocol? And then from there, like, how are we training staff from a maintenance standpoint? And all these learnings that we've had over the last few years, and now we're buttoning that up and really going to market with that. And so it's, to your original question, it's a massive, we expect this sector to grow, take a higher proportion of the business than what it currently sits at 10%. And yeah, it's the feedback and the demand's there. Now it's on us to execute and be there as a good partner for these people.
So I'm sure both you and Paul are probably seeing demands from hotels and other places outside of just typical gyms asking for this type of product. Paul, I'd like you to comment on that, but I'm going to sound like a real New Yorker with this question because I'm always thinking about limited real estate, right? Sure. How can studios, gyms, clubs with limited physical space still take advantage of these recovery modalities if they just don't have the square footage that some of these other facilities may have at its disposal?
Yeah, so the products aren't small, but they're not really that big, and because you use it with your clothes on. So again, the hydro massage, you have warm jets of water massaging your body with your clothes on. Our cryo lounge plus, you've got 6 zones, and you can have 3 or 4 of them that are cold, and that's 25 degrees. And then the hot is anywhere from 95 to 115, depending on what you set it at. So you get the cold where you need it, and warm wherever to offset the cold so that you're comfortable. And again, this is with your clothes on. And then the relaxed space for your 15-minute mental break. Again, they're all in this 3-foot by 6-foot package, so they can be placed up against the wall. And we have hotels put in kind of just adjacent to the front desk as the check-in. And they're giving everybody a free massage, and then if they want, they can buy 10 minutes extra, and that's been going very well. Same thing with a smaller studio type facility. 3-foot by 6-foot to 3-foot by 8, depending on the product. Just pushed up against the wall. It's really not a lot of space. I mean, it could seem like it is, but it's pretty simple. Years ago in medical, we've got a lot of doctors up in New York and hospitals that have them, physical therapists, and they're using them. And again, once you see what it does for the facility and for the members, or medical, it's for the patients. You can always find space, so you move a couch and you got a space for one of our products. So people love them, and it gets people coming back. A lot of ROI is retention. If you can get people to keep coming back and differentiate yourself from the place down the street or 5 miles away, that's a big important spot there. So a big important piece of the puzzle is having that likability factor and ease. So again, having your clothes, people, clothes on, they could leave work, go in there for 10 or 15 minutes, use it, and go back to work. So very convenient, easy to use, and they're all comfortable.
You see a lot of your clients, are they telling you that they actually see members that maybe not active in the gym, as they're not using the treadmill, they're not using the weights, but they'll hop in after work for 10, 15 minutes for the recovery session?
Seriously, every conversation we have, that they say that at some point, and they're always kind of sheepish, they're going, yeah, a lot of people don't even work out. Some of them come in, they come at like 5 in the morning, and they come use the hydro massage or the cryo lounge or the relaxed space, and then they leave and go to work, or they're coming in at their lunch break or at the end of the day. Or, I mean, we have, a lot of 24/7 clubs, and we do a lot of tracking, and 3 o'clock in the morning, our products are being used on a regular basis. So,
I think this is really an important point you're making, because one of the things that we hear a lot at Athletech is this industry is struggling to monetize. A lot of these facilities have reopened after the pandemic, and maybe the membership's not the same. The consumer has so many options. People are really trying to figure out how to have the auxiliary revenue streams, make more money with what they have. And if this is really part of the future, and all three of you have said this is part of the future of fitness, wellness is, I really call it fitness and wellness as one today. This is something really facilities have to look into if they want to stay competitive moving forward. On the topic of staying competitive, how are each one of you guys innovating, bringing new products to the market to stay ahead of the copycat companies, and what should we look out for in the coming year? So, Ryan, let's start with you. What should we be on the lookout for from Plunge?
Yeah, for us, it's evolving. We've been in the cold category. We're now getting into the sauna category, and that was directly from our customers. When we started, they were emailing us, "Who do you recommend? Will you ever build one?" We surveyed them. It was like 40% were in the market to buy right now. So that led into that. So it was kind of an opportunity to, you buy a cold plunge once every 5 to 10 years. Now we can readdress that customer. The app is something we're real excited about. We just launched the MVP of that, and that'll really be our hub and ecosystem for all of our products. So all the new products that are coming out and the sauna are all connectable to it. You can track your plunges. You can, connect to wearables, track your heart rate in there, get your maintenance updates. So real ecosystem that we have some ideas of where that's going, but we're still developing what the actual app will be. So from a consumer experience, making sure that is dialed, and it's from the moment you order to the moment you're in it, it's seamless and clean. And then just innovation on the plunge. That's the one we've had our current model out. We've made a lot of iterations to it, but it's been the same model that we really launched with, more or less. We've improved it, but it's still the same model. Well, our engineering team spent over 2.5 years, and what we're coming out with our new products is real exciting. So to me, it's really the first of its kind plunge that's been designed with engineers that cold plunge, which is, it's taken a while to actually build a team that's a thing, where we understand the consumer, but built from the ground up. So that's something we're super excited in, to kind of innovate and make sure our product is top of the market. And then, always thinking through, as a cold plunger, what are the things that you want? How can we make this experience better? So,
when are you going to have a cold plunge that I could put in my apartment?
It's in the roadmap. It's we want to get a smaller footprint plunge, a little more efficient for an inside type use. Our goal is to roll out a product for every use case, and that's one right there. The New York City apartment, that's a market that we can't really serve right now. We can only really get into commercial into that. But if you Google cold plunging in New York, there's not many options, and people are wanting it big time. So I think of commercial opportunity. We talked about staying ahead, how to have better member, keeping on your members. To me, it's a play into new customers. Like, people are Yelping, people are Googling, where do I go? We see the trends here, and there's not many places to go. So I think if you can be a first mover from a commercial standpoint to actually get cold water in your facility, that's a huge opportunity. And for us, it's how do we just keep making the product better? It's a true piece that we want to keep innovating and be at the forefront of it.
Well, that's probably why, Rachel, you keep opening more and more locations. What is the demand been? I'd like to hear where Restore is going, but as a follow-up, have you seen a massive increase in the amount of franchisees looking to open a location in the past? I have to imagine it's like exponential, the amount of inbound inquiries the past couple of years over in the past.
Yeah, it's so true. As these therapies start to become more heard about, people are learning about them, they're listening to the podcast, they're seeing in the headlines, they're looking for the places to go. And I think that's one of, Restore's superpower. And just to sort of piggyback on where Ryan was talking about where this industry is going, is one of the things that's great about Restore is that we have power and scale, right? And so what we see is that our clients are interested, and this is, our clients as well as sort of, the Gen X, the Gen Zs, they want things that are personalized, they want data-driven, and they want those wraparound services so that they've got their toolkit and they're not constantly having to experiment and try and re-understand what's going on with their body. So I'm a scientist. This is why I'm at Restore, and data for me is destiny, right? And so when we think about scale and we're looking at the information that we're collecting from our clients who want to be part of this data, right? So when we look at, Ryan mentioned the wearables, we look at those partnerships and we're bringing in metrics like HRV, like sleep, some biomarkers that we're talking about. People want to know what's going on in their bodies. And we, as Restore, the way that our company is built, the products that we offer, we have the ability to track all of those things for our clients. And that's what people are looking for. They're looking for that hyper-personalized journey. They're looking for the data to show them that what they're doing is working. And they want that journey to change with them. So as they have a child, have a family, have a stressful event, change their exercise regimen, they want that feedback so that their journey can change. And that's really what we're thinking about for the future, is how can we help people understand what's going on with their body with their own data and really personalize their day-to-day with all of
I'm going to make sure one of our editors takes data is destiny and cuts that up and gives it to you. That's a real nice social moment there, right? Paul, same question for you. What's in the roadmap for your company, and what should we be on the lookout for?
Yeah, so we've got 2 new products, as I said a little bit ago, that we're working on right now. Can't tell you about both of them. I'll tell you kind of at a high level. One of them is really just preparing people for exercise. So look at Aaron Rodgers. Obviously missed out on an important moment by not preparing for his game the other day, and hurt himself and a lot of other people in the process. So wish he could have had the product that we're building, so he would have been prepared for that game.
Everyone in New York wishes the same. Yeah.
So we're building something so that people are ready for exercise and they don't hurt themselves. So that'll be out next year. And the one year after will, there's just a big demand for massage therapists. So there was a shortage before COVID, and after COVID, there was, a lot of the schools closed. So we're coming out with a product that'll really help that market. So then we also have, we've got a really great app that we offer to our customers. So it connects to most of the companies that do billing for any kind of membership, connects them to all their machines. So some of our owners have hundreds or even thousands of clubs, and they can see a snapshot of all their machines, how they're doing, the maintenance on them. They can make sure they're being cycled, and everyone's being used every other time rather than the same one all the time. They can see everything about it, all the maintenance reminders, and talk to their staff through it. They can start the machines, they do anything they want with it, get all the stats. They can see a heat map of usage by day, by hour, by anything else they want to know. So they can understand if they need more of the same equipment in the club or if they have too many pieces in that club.
That's super helpful.
So that's we just started rolling that out a little bit ago, and people find that really helpful. One piece that you touched on earlier and Rachel talked about is the Gen Zs. And, years ago, kind of when you thought of kind of the younger people, they didn't, they wanted all kinds of other things. Now they're really into experiences. And so all of the products that all three of us are selling are really perfect for the Gen Zs, because they're not as much into getting a new house as they are about what can I do today to make my life or my day better. And so all of our products are fantastic, and both of their products are right in line with that. So we're seeing that as one of the big growing areas of the people that are using our products. And then corporate wellness, you see, you've got all these companies trying to bring people back, and they've got offices available. So because our products are so easy to use, you don't need a changing room or anything else. They can just plug our pieces in there. So that's going well with corporate wellness. And same thing with universities and multifamily. And so, a lot of market change in these last couple of years, and the products that all three of us sell, I think, are poised for just tremendous growth. And so I think we're all in a great space for that. So the predictions are, everything I see is that wellness is going to triple in size between now and 2030. So
it's interesting
about that.
We titled this session "The Business of Recovery." But in listening to you three today, it's really, we should be changing that, because it's really prevention and recovery. And I think that's a big takeaway that I'm getting from today's learnings. All right, one last question, 30 seconds or less. If you had one or two predictions, what are going to be the headlines in recovery, wellness, prevention, longevity? Everyone's trying to live forever now, that we're going to see in 2024. Ryan, you want to start?
I'm bullish on in real life experiences. I think everything went online. COVID led a lot to that. A lot of people built out their own situation, what we're, capitalizing on. But I think in real life, bringing humans together is a huge opportunity. And I see a few people in the space doing it. And I think it's a huge opportunity. And I think
we're going to have our first in real life event in June. So hopefully you'll be there. Rachel?
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to double down on personalization and individual data. People, as they learn more about their own bodies and what they can do to affect change, I think is really where we're going in the future. So as we think about our products that we're developing, also thinking at the same time about how they can provide feedback to our clients and to our users and show them that evidence that their body is in fact responding, rather than giving them gimmicks and headlines, really demonstrating the value.
Paul, I know you rattle off a bunch of them. I think corporate wellness is a great one. I love that. But anything else you want to add?
Sure. I think just to reiterate what they're both saying, I think that, I've been kind of saying it for a while. I'm a little bit older, but there was a Star Trek years ago, and they go back in time and one of them gets hurt, and then they wave something over the top of them right before the surgeon was going to cut them open. And I've said, it's probably going to be in the next 12 months here, we're going to go, what were we thinking about? We were not focusing on these really important things, the data that Rachel's talking about, and the recovery products that we all have, that everybody's going to realize they should be giving a lot more importance to what we're offering. And I think that awareness is just going to keep growing faster and faster, and we're all going to be healthier for it. So mind, body, and a full holistic.
Well, speaking of data, I can see what people are reading at Athletech, and I can tell you, everything you guys are working on is one of the most clicked or the most clicked stories every single week. So I hope you'll come back and join us again in real life as well in June. But thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it. And look forward to speaking soon.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.